Okay, so what is happening down here? The house rule, you all know what is happening. All right. This is the few questions that is actually found in Kahoot. All right. So I just want to go through some of them quickly. All right. You all can see my screen, right? Eyes can see my screen. Very good. Can hear me loud and okay, thank you. And can hear me loud and clear. All right. So find the unknown angles. This is a triangle, children. Oh my goodness. This is a triangle, right? So a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees. So 180 degrees minus what? Minus 65 minus 38. All right, I did say can use calculator. I did say. All right, so if you use your calculator, 180 minus 65 minus 38, right? It should give you a 77 degrees. All right, this is called what? This is called angle sum of triangle. Huh? Sure, the reasoning must write angle sum of triangle. Yes. All right, better get used to writing the reason. All right, because in Sec 2, right, or in Sec 1, right, everything is about what? Everything is about presentation. All right, if your presentation is a little bit off, your teacher will not like it. All right, so always present in such a way that your teacher likes your style. Can? All right, so always write in all this reasoning, angle sum of triangle. State the name of a five-sided polygon. All right, a five-sided polygon is called a pentagon. How do I remember it's called a pentagon? I don't know if you got see the news or not. All right, so I believe that sometimes your language, right, English and all this, they will ask you to look at the news and all this. All right, there is a country, a very powerful nation called the United States of America. They have this place, right? It's called the what? All right, there's this place called the Pentagon. All right, so this Pentagon is the place whereby they make decision, military decision, or how to protect the nation and all this. So this Pentagon, right, is actually there's a few layers to it. All right, I didn't have the chance to go in. All right, I don't think that normal people can go in one. All right, like tourists and all this cannot go in one. All right, so there's a few layers of the Pentagon from a helicopter view. So when you see in a helicopter and you watch downwards, right, there's a few layers of Pentagon, and this place is called Pentagon, lor. All right, this place is called the Pentagon, lor. So that's how I remember the word Pentagon. All right, so a quick one. Three-sided is called triangle. Three-sided is called triangle. Four-sided, no, not square. Stop it. Not rectangle, no. Not trapezium, no. All these are examples. Four-sided is called quadrilateral. All right, four-sided is called quadrilateral, children. All right, quadrilateral. All right, it's not called a square. A square is just an example. All right, it's just like in primary school, you learn something called what? Living things and non-living things, right? Living things, you learn different groups. Amphibian, insects, mammals, fish, bird, right? All these are the various category, but the heading is called what? Living things. All right, so the top portion is called polygon. It branched down to what? Things like quadrilateral. Quadrilateral, it can branch down to things like square, rectangle, trapezium, and so on. Five-sided is called a pentagon. Six-sided, this one must know. Six-sided is called a hexagon. Hexagon. All right, hexagon. All right, seven-sided is called a heptagon. Heptagon. All right, eight-sided is called a octagon. All right, eight-sided, I remember it as a octopus. Octagon. All right, nine-sided is called a nonagon. Nonagon. And 10-sided is called a decagon. Decagon. All right, so how do I remember the nine-sided? How do I remember the nine-sided? Because nine-sided is spelled as N-I-N-E, you see. So 9 is N-I-N-E, right? So I remember as N-N, you see. Nonagon also got N-N, right? So 10, how do you remember 10? 10 means what? Do you know that one decade is equal to how many years? One decade is equal to 10 years. All right, one decade is 10 years. 100 years is 1 century. 1,000 years is 1 millennium. All right, so the word decade, D-E, D-E, decagon, one, Deca, correct. All right, so this oct, right, I remember it as octopus. All right, octopus. All right, don't remember it as October. All right, six is, I don't know, this one I have to remember, I don't know how to remember. Hexagon, and 7 is hep. All right, these two be careful. 6 and 7, be careful. Okay. So again, all these are revision for your Sec 1. All right, sometimes they will ask, better for you to do some revision constantly. All right, so that I can just remind you. All right, so sometimes remind you, you know. Question 3, right, is something which is important, which many of you got it wrong, except I think Sherman got it right. All right, so down here they say 8p, right, is actually equal to 6q. Okay, 8p is equal to 6q. So they want the ratio p is to q. Do you know that p is to q can be written as a fraction, p over q? All right, so ratio and fraction, right, they are same. All right, it's just that the presentation is different. So you are looking for p over q equal to what? So down here you got 8p equal to 6q. I want you to learn something, children. I want you to learn something called reverse cross multiply. What? All right, you only learn this in this lesson. All right, you don't learn it elsewhere. All right, this is called reverse cross multiply. Since the question wants p over q, right? The question wants p over q. All right, p is to q is p over q. I force out my p over q here. And I do a reverse cross multiply. So what does a reverse cross multiply say? What must be on top? All right, so what times q must give you a 6q? What times q must give you a 6q? The only possibility is the 6 being on top. Can you see now? All right, so that if I cross multiply, 6 times q will give me a 6q, and the 8 has to be low. All right, so that when I do a cross multiply, 8 times p is 8p. Can you see now? So 8 times p is 8p, 6 times q is 6q. Yes. So this step is what I call reverse cross multiply because it's the reverse of it. All right, reverse cross multiply. All right, why do I want to do this step? All right, because the question is asking for what? The question is asking for what is p is to q. So p is to q is equal to p over q, the same. You write it as 6 is to 8. If you reduce to the lowest term, it's just 3 is to 4. And that's your answer. Answer is 3 is to 4. Many of you write 4 is to 3. Many of you write 4 is to 3. Why? Because you think that down here is 8. Down here is 6. So immediately write 4 is to 3. No. That's the wrong thinking. Wrong thinking. Get rid of that thinking. All right? Get rid of the thinking. All right, so this is the correct answer. Answer is 3 is to 4. Very careful here. All right, Sec 1 making the mistake. Sec 2 better don't make such mistake anymore. And don't worry about this later. I write nicely, right? This one I write nicely. I will send it to you also. Don't worry. Next, write down the rate in words per minute. All right, when they say per minute means what? Per minute means in 1 minute. In 1 minute. All right, that's the meaning. So Mr. Tan typed 320 words. Sorry. 320 words in 5 minutes. All right, so you're looking for 1 minute, right? What you do? 1 minute down here. So I will do a divide by 5 down here. I'll do a 320 divided by 5 over here. All right. So using my mental calculator, I'm using my mental calculation now. Answer is 64. See, my mental calculation is so good. I trust my mental calculation. Answer is 64 words per minute. All right, so I just want to point out the word per minute means in 1 minute. All right, per means in 1 minute. The next one is a number pattern. As you can see, it's like 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2, all right. All of you got the 16 part, but be careful. 16 times 2, all right, is 32, not 20. That's the answer. Can? So number patterns come in Sec 1, right? Yes, it does. All right, so just a quick revision. Such things do come out in your Sec 2 exam. I promise you. All right, then you will not get shocked. Or it's better to be prepared a bit. It's better to do some revision along the way. That's the reason why we are doing this. Okay? All right, again, as I say, this will be sent to you, don't worry. All right, it will be put into your dashboard. You can watch the PPT again. You can watch the lesson again, don't worry. All right, Ezeki, are you there? Are you okay? Is your video okay? If it's
I still don't have.
okay, no problem. All right, thanks for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Okay, come, next question. A rectangle has a perimeter of 12 cm. So this is like the rectangle. And the perimeter, right, is 12 cm. The width is 2 cm. Another word for width, do you know is called the breadth? Another word for width is called the breadth. All right, since the perimeter down here is 2 cm, which means it's 4 cm, 12 minus 4 will be 8 cm. And this 8 cm will represent the what? This 8 cm will actually represent the 2 length. The 2 length down here. All right, so how do you find one length? 8 divided by 2 to give you a 4 cm is actually the length. The question is looking for area. Easy, sure. 4 times the width or the breadth. all right, of 2, which will give you a 8. And the units is 8 cm square. All right, this one, some of you got it wrong because you never think too much. And remember, for perimeter, you have to minus the width 2 times 1. All right, then divide by 2, that will give you the length. Okay? Number 7, a bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed, number 7, because it's Sec 2 work. All right, this one you have to use your what? Use your psi. All right. Psi rule 1, right? Psi. Psi sounds terrible, right? Okay, what is psi? Psi means what? Special what? Algebraic. Algebraic, B-R-A-I-C, sorry. All right, special algebraic rule identity, right? Identity 1. All right, you remember this or not? Ayo, we did it recently only. All right, so you have to remember the what? Remember the flow, which is what? Front square plus 2 front back plus back square. Remember this? All right. So x plus 8, right? X is in front, 8 is at the back. Front square plus 2 front back plus back square. Can you see not? So the carelessness down here, right, is somebody, all right, think that 8 and 8 is a 16. No, 8 times 8 is 64. So be careful, please, children. All right. 8 times 8 is 64. It's not 16. Some of you choose the 16. But I want to say something. I'm very glad that none of you did this. I'm very glad that none of you did this. Like that. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong, hey, children. All right. Thank you for not doing that. Thank you for not doing that. All right. At least you put the 8 times 8, right? You think it's 16. All right. Rather than you select this answer. This is totally wrong. All right, but many of my students, right, they always expand like that. They always think that the square is for the x, the square is for the 8, then okay. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? Please be careful. This one, this one is something to do with what? This is something to do with psi 3. All right, special identity rule 3, which is what? All right, so we have m minus 10, m plus 10. All right, 1 plus 1 minus is actually what? Front square minus back square. Front square minus back square. M squared minus 100. That's the answer. All right. So special identity rule 3, right, is talking about front square minus the back square. Front means the item in front, which is the M. Back is the 10. Okay? And number 9, they're asking you to what? Factorize. Oh my goodness. Factorize means what? All right. The first stage of factorization. All right, first stage of factorization is what? Taking out the common term. Taking out the common term. So 56 plus 7x. 56 can be written as what? 7 times 8. Do you know that? Of course you know. 7 can be written as 1 times 7. All right, and what is common? The common is the 7. So you suck out the 7. Right, you take out the 7. And what is left? There's the 8 left plus what? 7, you take out 7, just left with a 1, right? All right, the x, put it back. All right, don't put the 1, sure. Answer is 7 bracket 8 plus x. Or you can write it as 7 bracket x plus 8. All right, so again, right, just now I was trying to tell the student that our system is not that foolproof. It's not that smart. So for example, right, if you write the answer as 7 bracket 8 plus x, all right, the system might mark you wrong. All right, because the system only got 7 bracket x plus 8 as answer. But it's the same, I know. That's why I say already, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. All right. Okay, moving on to number 10, which everybody of you get it correct. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you. This is the only question that all of you got it correct. Good job. All right, down here is a plus 8. I bring across. 15 minus 8 is a what? It's a 7. All right, and that's the only question that you all got it right. All of you, all 5 or 6 of you. Thank you so much. All right, so this is actually a bit of Sec 1 and Sec 2. I hope that it is a quick revision thing. All right, it's to introduce you things that you should know. All right, and when it comes out, right, you know what's happening. Can? All right, that's all for this Kahoot thing. Okay, moving on to today's lesson. All right, so today's lesson, right, we'll be doing a bit of algebraic fraction and a bit of solving. All right, so as you can see, the question reduced really. Last time was about 8 questions, now becomes 5 questions, right? Yeah, I know. All right, as promised, all right, let's zoom in into the more important question. All right, but before everything, I always start off with one extra question. this time round is still a